All right, let's take a look at one more example of a perfect square trinomial. How do we know whether it is or it is not a perfect square trinomial? That would be a very, very important thing you should ask yourself. All right, the first term should be a square of something. Well, what is 36 a square of? If you do not know, we just use a calculator and take square root of 36, and that tells us that's 6. And of course, u squared is a square of u. The first term, which we call a, we now identified, and that's 6u. Okay, for the second term, 16, what is that a square of? Well, that would be 4. Okay, so we put that. The next thing we must make sure, because we can't move on unless this fits the pattern, right? So what is the pattern? We also have to compute with 2ab. And we just identified, by the way, that b is 4. Okay, let's compute 2 multiplied by a, which is 6u, multiplied by b, which is 4. Okay, and here we're going to multiply 2 times 6 times 4, that's 48. And 48u is what we get. Is that going to match this right here? Well, yes, it does, right? It's the same thing. Okay, now that we know that it matches, that means that this expression is going to be a square of something. Question is, what is the something? Well, it's supposed to be a, b. Okay, my a is 6u. My b is 4, but the sign, okay, so this is something that you need to understand, because even though you're going to see it on a formula sheet, you do need to pay attention to this sign right here. That's going to determine if this sign over here going to be a minus or a plus. And that means that if this sign right here, the middle term, is a plus, then you're going to also have a plus when you factor. But if it's a minus, then you're going to have a minus when you factor. Okay, now, how do I know that the 6u minus 4 squared, is that really the right answer? Well, I can choose to FOIL, right? 6u minus 4 multiplied by 6u minus 4. And if that works, then I am sure I got it. Okay, let's do first, which is 36u squared. Then outer, which is going to be 6 times 4 is 24u. Then inner, which is also 24u with a minus. And then last is negative 4 times negative 4. The two minuses cancel out, and that gives you a 16. And then these two middle terms, they can be combined into 1 because they are like terms. And that means that you get 36u squared minus 48u plus 16. And that matches the expression where you started, and that means that the factoring is correct. And that means that this right here will just be 6u minus 4 squared. This is 6u, this is 4. Here we got 48u. And of course, that does match the middle term. So this is a perfect square trinomial.